Hello everyone, Niev here, and look what I just got. I just got the Bloodmoon Tarot, so really excited about this. This is, of course, by Sam Guai. I'm pretty sure that's how it's said, but maybe I'm wrong. If so, I apologize, but here we go. So, it's a large two-piece box. Who does this? This is done by US Games. So this is US Games, two-piece box, and the sides are kind of cool. It's kind of got a... Oh, I'm out of focus. There we go. Sorry. It's kind of got an angle here. So, like, when it's on, let's see. It looks like that. There we go. So that's kind of nice. I like it. But, you know, I don't really utilize the big boxes. So, to me, they're a little pointless. I mean, I understand why they do it. It's for the book, you know. Which, by the way, this is a lovely book. This is gorgeous. And it's hardcover. Beautiful, beautiful pages here, full color, stunning. Like, and there's several like full page things like this. Really, really beautiful. Yeah, the book is really nice. And here is the deck. And I did put everything back in order. I haven't really done any readings with it, but I was flipping through the cards while I was talking to my mom on the phone, and shuffled a few, and just to, you know, get a feel of the deck and do something with my hands while I was on the phone. But I put everything back in order, which is not something I normally do for these videos, but yeah, I think it's because I want to sort of do something a little bit different than what I normally do with my walkthroughs, and I kind of just want to do like the major arcana and then each of the suits. I don't know. Like kind of doing a 5 at once sort of thing here. So yeah, so I think that's what I'm going to do. But before I lay out those sections there, these are the backs. Very pretty. Love it. And these are the edges here. Really nice. I love this edging. It's matte, and it's kind of like a burnt red. Maybe not really maroon. Maybe it's maroon. Kind of a wine maroon, burgundy, burnt red. Something like that. All right, so let me lay out the sections of the cards. Okay, I'm having a few technical difficulties. So I've laid out the 4 suits and the major arcana all right here, and now I'm messing it up. Like, what am I doing? All right, anyway, I laid them all out, but then my camera, like my tripod, kept like not, it kept falling my camera forward, and I've jerry-rigged it a bit, but like I've got it to finally hold a position. But yeah, it's kind of I kind of had to change the layout a little bit, so it's a little awkward, and I kind of zoomed in a little bit. So now my idea of showing all 5 categories in one is kind of dashed now. But I think what I'll do is I'll show all of the major arcana, and then I will move these in and show the suits. All right, so let's flip through. Here is the full. I love this full card. That is absolutely stunning. And I mean, and oh, Angels from Feeding Your Soul. She's been doing some artwork with this deck. And she did the full card, and it was absolutely stunning. Yeah, definitely go check out her channel, because she's been doing some really great artwork all around this deck. But yeah, this full card is amazing. I mean, and there's so much detail in the walls here. I'm not going to spend this long on each card. I just really, really like this full card. So, and here's the Magician. Quite young for a Magician. But I guess the Magician card kind of is a little young, now that I think about it. But I guess I've always sort of thought of him as a bit of an old man. But yeah, but this feels especially young. and it's like all these hands into guide, or it's almost like a muse sort of card. So interesting depiction of the Magician. Not my favorite Magician card. I kind of like just honestly the very typical imagery of the Magician. So not my favorite Magician card, but still nice. And then we have the High Priestess here. Ooh, is that like I'm trying to can't quite tell on the camera. I'm trying to get around to look at it. I'm sorry if the sound is weird. My face is like really close to the camera now. Now that I've changed how everything's laid out here. Yeah, is it like a corpse? Wow. I mean, let's check this out. Look at that. That's really interesting. Oh, and here up here we have a face. Ooh, in the moon. Wow, that's beautiful. So the primary purpose that I want this deck to fulfill in my collection is what I wanted the Hush Tarot to be for me. But the Hush Tarot did not work for me. I passed it along to a friend. And yeah, it didn't work for me. I want a deck that is very wild, like these. This is kind of like a bee goddess looking. I mean, because that's what it seems like here. Or is it bees? Because it feels very honey-like. And then we have a whole suit of honey. So this is like a bee card. This could be my Bridget deck, honestly. But my intended purpose for this was more for connection with the good people, with the fairies, the good people. Here is the Emperor. Ooh, check that out right there. Wow. Okay. And then we have the Hierophant. Oh, I like this. This is a nice Hierophant. I like this depiction. Okay. And that focus. The Lovers is absolutely stunning. Like, I mean, I could look at every detail, and that's what's really nice about this deck. It's very detailed. The artwork in here is super, super detailed. I could spend a long time looking at all the little elements in each card. Chariot, Strength. I'm going to try to go faster here. So Strength is 8 and Justice is 11 in this deck. The Hermit. Wow. Okay. The Wheel, very typical. Justice. Ooh. Sorry, I'm just oohing and eyeing. It's kind of my first real look through this because, like I said, when I was flipping through before and just like casually shuffling this, I was on the phone with my mom, so like I wasn't really looking at the cards. I was just kind of casually flipping through. All right, let's stay focused here. There we go. The Death card is beautiful. Yes, but this feels, it's very wild fae to me, very otherworld, very much the ultra terrestrials, meaning so like, you know, extraterrestrials are beings from another planet. Ultra terrestrials are beings from our own planet that are just on a different plane of existence, you know. And that's what this makes me think of. This is like ultra terrestrials, like the fae, and how I would see the fae. Like, they're not pointed ears with wings fairies. They're a more folkloric depiction of the fae. Before, you know, the Victorians came along and gave them their wings and and made their ears pointy. Ooh, the moon. Wow. It's like, oh, it's the different masks. Ooh, this is a cool take on the moon. I like that one. The moon and the High Priestess. Those are two cards I always have trouble with. The sun. I like this a lot. So it definitely has this bee/honey sort of vibe, this deck. So I've known about this deck for years, and it was on my list when it was indie, and I just never got it. And then it, you know, it stopped being indie. It stopped being made. It went out of print. I think that's what I was trying to say. It went out of print. Judgment. Cool. And eventually became mass market. So I'm really glad it did. This is so beautiful. And that is one of the full images here in this book. Here it is. Sorry, I had to reach. Here in this book. There we go. We'll look at that in a moment. But this is so beautiful. Huh. I'm thinking about bag designs right now. I'm thinking about how I might do this, the bag for this deck. Because obviously I'm going to need a bag since I am not going to be keeping it in a giant box. It bugs me that decks come in such large boxes. It's like, I'm not going to, you know, what do I need the box for? You know? But yeah, a simple tuck box would be preferable, but that's gorgeous. All right, so that is all the major arcana. I'm going to set that over here to the side, and then I'm going to try to center this so that we can maybe actually flip through these and see them all together. All right, let's see. Right there and right here. So as you can see, the titles have been renamed. I'm moving them over a little bit more. The titles have been renamed, which I don't love. The suits have been renamed. That's probably my biggest issue, I guess, with the deck, is that I don't love renaming of cards. And it's you know, if I only had like 10 decks, maybe I wouldn't mind it so much. I'd be like, oh yeah, you know, I get it, you know, and it makes sense, and you know, whatever. But when you're a tarot collector, and you have like 200 plus decks, you know, it gets confusing. It's like, which suit is this? Because Dreams is for the swords. The Dreams are for the swords. Now, initially, I would have thought the Dreams were like cups because it's very emotional, but you know, I get Dreams being for the swords because, you know, it is something that's in your mind. So I mean, that works. Songs are for cups. Yeah. Skins are for wands. I get that. I understand this. I understand that. That makes sense. And honey is for the pentacles or the coins, and I think that works too. So I mean, the renaming works. I was a little, like, a tiny bit tripped up about Dreams for swords, but like, it still makes sense. It's yeah, and like, one of my issues is that, like, when you're renaming suits or renaming the courts or renaming the major arcana, is that other decks might use the same words that you know, a certain deck uses for their deck, but they're for different cards. You know, so like, I have a deck that has keepers as the kings, but then a different deck that has keepers as the queens, and that sort of thing like drives me nuts. So 2 of swords are Dreams. And I, you know, in general, I understand why they do renamings, but I just prefer to keep the original names for things. 2 of songs, 2 of skins, and 2 of honey. Then we have the 3 of Dreams. Wow. I like that depiction. The 3 of songs. Oop, here we go. Oh, and this cardstock, by the way, is very interesting. I'm just going to grab one of the major arcana cards, but they're very interesting. I don't know how to explain it. It's got a texture to it, like a linen texture. So it is linen. It's got a linen texture, and it's very nice to handle. It's very nice to handle. Hopefully the lighting's okay. I kind of had to close my curtain a little bit because it was just too bright and all the glare was washing everything out. Yeah, so it's got like a linen coating on it, and you can kind of hopefully see it there. But they feel weird. It's almost like thicker photo paper, maybe. I mean, the cards themselves are not thick. They're fairly thin, and they're super bendy. They're very bendy, and they shuffle just fine. We'll do that when we're done looking through. But yeah. It's thin-ish, but they kind of feel like thicker photo paper. So we have still on 3s. So 3 of skins, 3 of wands, and 3 of honey. I love this card, the 3 of honey here. And it makes sense. I mean, they're building their braids together, you know, they're connecting their resources together to create something for the community. You know what I mean? So I love that. Then we have the Four of Swords, Four of Dreams. Okay. The Four of Songs. At first glance, when I was looking through this deck, I thought these were like baby safety pins. Then I was like, oh wait, these are birds, and there's like a seashell in their beaks. But like when I'm not wearing my glasses and I just initially look at the card, it looks like, like colorful baby diaper pins. Yeah. But anyway, so Four of Skins, nice, and Four of Honey. Beautiful. Five of Dreams. Five of Dreams. Wow. This artwork is amazing. So, and Five of Songs, and we see the mandolin or lute, maybe? Mandolin or lute is broken, but it's still making songs. So, and she seems to still be somewhat happy. Perhaps she's holding on to, like, this is interesting. Because with the Five of Cups, I think about, how there's 5 cups, two or three of them are spilt or broken, and the remaining are sitting upright and filled, and I always read that as yes, there's been a loss, but and we need to grieve that loss, and we need to hold space for that loss, but there's so much left now, like, don't neglect what you still have, and sometimes it can also indicate a focus on the wrong thing, focusing on the negative instead of the positive, which may be needed in some cases and in other cases not, but that's kind of how I think of it. Whereas this, I was trying to read this card like that, but I just thought how this could be indicating that she's still using a broken tool. Like, the tool is not working. I mean, all the strings are broken, and she's still determined to use this tool. And that's interesting. All right. So then we have the Five of Skins. Wow. Interesting. There's lots of bugs in this deck. So if you don't like bugs, I would recommend not getting this deck. So, and then the Five of Honey. Ooh, rotted fruits here, and the bees around it. Oh, still trying to make sure they could get something for their hive. Yeah. So, I mean, the bee connection of this deck kind of makes me want to use this deck for for Bridget. But Six of Dreams. But I was kind of wanting to use this deck more for the Fae, for the good people, the Dinama. Six of Songs, okay. But I'll have to see. I'll have to experiment with this deck for Breach. Maybe on the next full moon, I might try to use this deck and see how she responds to it. And then we have the Six of Honey. Okay. And then we have, this card's cool. I think this is the card that was like, it's on the book. Yeah. It's like, is it on the cover of the box? No, it's on the cover of the book. And I was considering, for the potential bag that I may make for this deck, I was considering finding some Pan's Labyrinth embroideries or something, and seeing if that, because, I'm thinking of the guy with his hands in front of his, and it's got the eyeballs on his hands, I was thinking about using something like that for this deck. So... And we definitely say that a lot in the sword suit or the dream suit here. All right, Seven of Songs. Beautiful. Seven of Skins. And Seven of Honey. Beautiful. All right. 8. I'm sorry if you hear a buzzing in the background. Someone is using some sort of equipment outside, and there's a slight humming, and I'm not sure if the camera's picking up that noise. All right, so 8 of Dreams. Wow, look at that. Like in the clenches of this creature. Then we have the 8 of Songs. Nice. Okay. Stepping away from what one thought they were, perhaps. Interesting take on that card. And then we have the Eight of Skins. Which, yeah, that's like the messenger, the wands. Yeah. For a second, I was thinking this was pentacles, and I was like, does this work for the Eight of Pentacles? But no, but this is wands, right? That's my problem with the renaming of stuff. I just tend to kind of forget a little bit. All right, and then we have the Eight of Honey. This is the Eight of Pentacles, and this is a gorgeous card. Eight of Pentacles is my favorite tarot card in general, so I always like to look and see what the Eight of Pentacles in each deck, how it depicts it, and this is lovely. Beautiful card. All right, so Nine of Dreams, Nine of Songs, Nine of Skins. And I'm sure you've noticed that there's a colorway with each of the suits. I didn't mention that earlier, but it is something I noticed as well. The Dreams suit is more muted blues and darker colors, really dreamy, and kind of mysterious and dark, kind of dark. Then the Song suit, there's a lot of pinks and blues, and it's very bright and more colorful, more pinks and blues. And then the Skin suit here has a lot of oranges and almost fiery colors. And then the Pentacles suit here, the Honey, is green. Green with a little bit of gold, the gold, liquid gold, that's the honey, All right. So, 10 of Dreams, beautiful card, love it. 10 of Songs, interesting. It's almost like an offering my heart, or offering of a heart. Interesting. Then we have the 10 of Skins. Wow. Whew. All these mushrooms growing out and weighing down this person. And the 10 of Honey. Wow, beautiful. It's in a tree. I love when the 10 of Pentacles is depicted by a tree. To me, that's what it should always be depicted as. And I also kind of think of it as like, the family tree card. So I really like trees in that for that card. Now we are on the pages. We have Page of Dreams, so Page of Swords. We have the Page of Songs. Focus. The Page of Skins. Wow. I love that the mushrooms are growing out of her. And then the Page of Honey. And there is also a bit of a theme with each of these. So in the Dreams suit, I'm sure you've noticed that it was like moths mostly. And we do see a cocooned warrior here for the Night of Dreams. For the Song suit, we have like these herons, I think, or a similar type of bird. And conch shells, or shells in general. Yeah, this is gorgeous. And for the fire or suit, the skins, the wands, we see a lot of snakes. In this particular card, we're not seeing snakes, perhaps. But a lot of like snake imagery. We see a snake here. But and then in the suit of Honey, we're seeing like bees. We're seeing honey. We are seeing mushrooms. Were also what we're seeing. It's kind of like an animal and a sort of. There's like two elements in each, because the dream suit has moths and also eyeballs. The songs have the shells and like the herons, that type of bird. The skins has snakes and mushrooms, and the honey suit, what was the other thing? It has like bees and honey. What else was it? I thought there was a different thing that there was probably something else. Oh, pomegranates. That's what it was. So like bees and pomegranates. So there is the Night of Honey. There we go. So Queen of Dreams, Queen of Songs, Queen of Skins. Love this card. And that would be my significator too. So I love it. And Queen of Honey. Beautiful. And then finally we have the King of Dreams, the King of Songs. Love it. The King of Skins. Wow, that's so cool. And finally, the King of Honey. Beautiful. All right, so I'm going to stack these all together here now that we've gone through each one. And I'm going to give this a shuffle. So it's a little bit of a stretch for my hands. I'm not sure if it's... it seems like it's standard tarot, but there's a bit of a stretch for my hands. So perhaps there's something different. Maybe the cards themselves are just slightly thicker than normal, but there is a little bit of a stretch for my tiny hands, but they shuffle beautifully. Shuffle really, really nicely. Again, sorry if you're hearing buzzing in the background. Someone is doing, I don't know if it's lawn mowing or there's some sort of equipment that's going on outside. Oh, I love that. That is beautiful. That's a nice shuffle. So I am going to experiment with this with the goddess Bridget and seeing if she will claim this deck or if she's amenable to it. But you know, what I thought I would do with this deck is more Fae folk type stuff, connections with the Fae, and that sort of energy. All right, so I've got some decks to pair with this. So let's see what we got here. Okay, so I'm sorry, there's a bit of a glare here, so I'm not quite sure how this is going to work. This is slightly different angle than I normally do. Like I said, I'm having some issues with my tripod here. It doesn't want to seem to hold a position for my phone. But I thought I'd try it with another very detailed deck, and this is the Shadowscapes Tarot. Yeah, and it has kind of the opposite vibe of this. I feel like the Bloodmoon Tarot is one that's very dark and, yeah, dark. Both in color a bit and mood. It's got a dark mood to it. Whereas the Shadowscapes Tarot is very light, very airy, very wispy, and you know, and this I also see is a bit of a Fae deck too, but it's got a completely different feel. It's not as wild. Well, it's still wild, but it's more ethereal, I guess. So let's flip over these cards here, see what I got here. Okay, Queen of Skins, great. I love that card. The Hermit, I'm going to show it here, but I think there's a glare. Now, I can't see because right here is the thing that holds my phone in the tripod, so I can't see right there. So I don't know if that's visible very well. Okay, so we have the 8 of Songs there. Okay, so we have Queen of Skins, the Hermit, and 8 of Songs. Let me shuffle these cards. These cards are much easier to shuffle for me because they're thinner. It's the old, like, Llewellyn cardstock. I'm pretty sure it's Llewellyn. Yeah, Llewellyn. So I'm just going to do a quick little shuffle here. And also want to compare the size. Sorry about the dog there. Yeah, so here you can see the size difference. The Bloodmoon is about, let's see, half. Sorry about the dog. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, so it looks like it's about, it's more than 1/4 of an inch. It's less than half an inch, but yeah, around there, about 1/3 of an inch taller. So, but it's the same width. So there we go. So all right, let's flip some cards. And what I'm kind of thinking about with this, it looks like I'm gonna have to push this up a little bit. Maybe I can zoom out a bit. Let's see. Maybe we can do that. You're gonna see some of my candle stuff and whatever, but you know, ooh, is this too much? Okay, this is gonna have to be good enough here. I just had to adjust the camera some more. Can you close the door, please? Thank you. That was a child. Came in here to give me a hug. Hi. She says hi. And there we go. So I was kind of thinking with this that it was kind of a dark and light aspect of something, because the artwork is very similar in that it's very detailed. It's a lot of details. Like each of these have a lot of details to it. So I was kind of curious how this might look, you know. And let's see. Let's do another round here. Then we have this. So I don't know. And we could like do something like this. We do that. That would kind of break it up a little bit. I mean, it does look cool. It's something I might want to experiment with. But then at the same time, it also feels maybe too busy. Because they're very similar in that they're very detailed, each one here. And it might be too much detail. I don't know. So, definitely interesting. Something I kind of want to think about. Don't know where I'm going with that. But, all right, so that was Shadowscapes. Okay, so the next one I kind of want to try is the Gentle Tarot. I almost forgot the name. It just kind of escaped my brain there for a second. So get it out of its bag here. So the Gentle Tarot. And I thought I'd give this one a shot. This one's very earthy, very of the earth, whereas this one is very otherworldly. I don't know if that makes sense, but let me give this a shuffle here. Now, see, this is a linen version. I have the linen deck. This was given to me, actually, because I also have the mini version of this deck, the one that was in a tin. I do have that one, too, but someone gave me the linen one. Yeah, so here we go. So we got the Hermit. Let's see. Got 8 of Thunder, which is swords. Yeah, this is going to get confusing. Because one of my biggest issues with the Gentle Tarot is the renaming of stuff. And I always forget what they are. It's so frustrating. Like, I've gotten so mad at this deck. Now, more so my mini version. But, you know, but the colors on these together do look really nice. It's the quartz that I mess up in this deck that I always kind of forget what each one is. Thankfully, this version does have these, so hopefully, like, we got some. Does it indicate what each of the quartz are? Because I always forget them. Close intention, like this is a guidebook. I could probably scan the guidebook thing. Yeah. I kind of forget. Anyway, so how do I like this together? I like the colors for sure. Ooh, okay. I know I'm just switching these out. I'm kind of making them even a little bit because... All right, let's do this then. Oh, there's someone in the kitchen next to me making some noise. Sorry about that. Oh, they're cleaning up the trash and recycling. That's why we're hearing a bunch of noise in there. Hope you don't mind. I live in a house with other people. A dog that likes to bark at people outside, or neighbors who like to mow lawns in the middle of the... Well, I guess the middle of the day is fine. You know, world can't revolve around me, you know. And then, you know, the kid is doing what I asked her to do, which is take care of the trash and recycling. So we're hearing a bunch of cans and stuff being flipped over. So, how do I feel about this? I think it might be too much with all of the renaming. I do like the colors together, but yeah, it's not quite as good as I want. But there's one more tarot deck I want to pair with this, and then I have a few oracles. Okay, I'm going to pair it with the Cosmovisions Oracle slash Tarot. So it's kind of a hybrid Oracle and Tarot. Yeah, and so because of that, the suits are renamed. Everything's renamed on this. So you would think that I would have a problem with that, since I was just talking about how the other decks, you know, this one, the Gentle Tarot, being where things are renamed. It might be too much, considering that this deck has renamings. But I think this is a bit different. This is, you know, we have 10 of trees. We've got trees, embers, and trees here again. And this might be a cool layout for it. I can't quite tell if I'm in frame. Again, you know, that thing that's right here, I can't see right in here. So here's my finger at the bottom of this. Yeah, I think I'm in frame. And here's my finger at the top of this. I think I'm in frame. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, so I thought a layout like this might be kind of cool. And I have the mini version that's, you know, in a tin. Yeah, and this deck is very much, it's kind of past life. It's a very past life kind of deck. Yeah. So that might be, and because of that, it's also very otherworldly. So let's lay out a few more. And I believe birds are the swords. And then we have the geomancer, because this deck also connects with geomancy, I'm pretty sure. Here we go. Ooh, look at that. Wow. Okay. Yeah, because so all of the court cards have just a completely different name. And we have the geomancer here, which I have no idea what tarot court that is associated with. I'll pull out the thing. The geomancer, it's under the suit of trees, which is pentacles, and I think it's the queen, so that's the queen of pentacles basically. But the focus for this deck is supposed to be more so on the oracle side, and I find that James R. Eads likes to do this with his decks, because the Oracle of Many Paths also does this, where it's 78 cards and it's an oracle, but it's also a tarot, you know? And the same thing is happening here. It's a tarot, even though it's supposed to be more of an oracle. But this is actually a really cool combination, and I think this may be a combination that I use a bit more. Ooh, the crow and the 5 of birds. And now let's pull a new card here. Ooh. I do like the way these are looking together. Because, you know, and also one of my complaints, you know, with this one, I thought because this one was so detailed and this one's so detailed, maybe they're competing with each other. And you would think that's true of this artwork as well, but I really don't think it does. I think it complements. I think the busyness in these cards kind of complement this. So far, this is the best one, because I was less than thrilled with the first two. Okay. Cool. And let's pull out a new card here. Ooh, okay. This could be really cool for, I won't say ancestor work. This is like more, because this deck is more past life focused. And then I was saying how this deck is very much Fae energy, and like this is almost like this deck is almost like connecting to this world. Huh, I really like this. One more combination here. We got the 6 of embers and the phoenix. Oh my gosh. And then finally, ooh, the swan. Oh my god. This is amazing. And the 4 of dreams. Ooh, wow. Okay, let me see a different card here. Let's see. Let's do this one. The 7 of skins with that. Look at all those colors. And also the King of Honey also looks really cool there too. All right, this was a bit of a winner. I like this one. Okay, so I'm moving towards the Oracle options now. And so this is the Urban Crow Oracle. Yeah, the Urban Crow. Yeah, that's what it's called. Urban Crow Oracle. And there we go. So, and, you know, with this deck, you know, I get, as I was saying that I wanted to use it more as a communication device with the Fae, or using it in conjunction with the Fae. I am connecting this with my Irish paganism, my Irish pagan practice, and so I'm bringing in decks that I use for that. So like, you know, we have 8 of songs and 6 of dreams with scavenge in the middle. And the crow decks I often use with On Morrigan, or, you know, they really connect with my Irish paganism focus, my practice. So We have 5 of honey. Ooh, okay. And the devil with trickery in the middle. Ooh, I like that. Okay. That one's pretty good. We have soar. I don't know if there's a glare there or not. And in between, we got Knight of Dreams. So a Knight of Swords. And 6 of honey. Ooh. So this is a bit of a, like, soaring. But 6 of honey. Huh. And it's interesting that these are going in different directions. Like this knight's going off this way. This knight is soaring off this way, and then this bird is like, hey, what about this? What like you're going off that way. What about this right here? So, interesting. Okay, and we're gonna do a few more, and then I will switch to the next deck. Here we have the 2 of Songs with fear in the middle. And Queen of Songs. So 2 of Songs and Queen of Songs with fear in the middle. Ooh, that's interesting. It's very odd. That's an interesting... Huh. Anticipation. Let's see. I just want to see self-interest. I'm just trying to see the difference. Self-interest and the Magician and the 7 of Dreams. Ooh, okay. Here we go. Judgment, Temperance, and Curiosity. This was decent. I don't know how I felt about it, how they look together. It was, we have the Urban Crow, which is very much of this world, but, you know, also a bit different, you know. And then this is almost the underbelly of what's going on under this world, you know. Interesting. Okay, well, that was Urban Crow. Okay, the next one I'm pulling out, I've pulled out in the last 3, you know, walkthrough videos as a pairing option. So I'm pulling it out again because for this, it really makes sense. And that's obviously the Fairies Oracle, the Brian Froud Fairies Oracle. Yeah, considering how I hope to use this deck, this fits with that. So let's put this in the middle here. Ooh, that's cool. Cool top image. I'm going to take a chunk off for the next one, though. So we have Death Fairy, in between Judgment and Temperance. Wow. All right, I'm going to take a chunk off of that to do the next one. And, yeah, I think I'm just, you know, the decks that I've gotten lately are just ones that had... I feel like this deck is really screaming to be used. So... Yeah, so we have the Fool and the Knight of Songs with this card in the middle with this character. Yeah, the Rar, is that what that says? That's the main issue with this deck. Like it's super amazing and very in depth and very deep, but you really have to like understand the characters or the beings here. And really study the book, you know, to get an idea, or really have an intuitive sense of what these beings want or what they're conveying. Yeah. So, we've got oh, that's Gnome. In between the 9 of Skins and the 5 of Dreams. This is a lovely combination. I'm not sure if we're getting a glare or anything, you know, because I can't see right there, but I can't see right there in the camera. I do like the way these are looking together, and I'm hoping I could use these together. Ooh, look at that. That's beautiful. Wow. Okay. I'm going to be silent for a little bit. As I'm just kind of looking at the cards. So how would I use this? All right. Perhaps I could meditate on a being, pulling a card, and that is the being I'm pulling. Lists of the Shadows. And we got this card here that's like, wow. Yeah. And that's kind of the beginning. It's the focus, you know, and then we got to pull a few cards of here to kind of add onto it. Oh, and this. Ooh, okay. That's cool. Just kind of looking at this. Sorry. I've kind of gone quiet or gone more introspective here looking at this. So there's definitely something here. I think I gotta work through how I want to use this. But this is, ooh, wow. Look at this. I mean, let me angle that a little bit. But wow, look at that. Whew. Okay, this is a good it's a good combination. It's just, you know, like I said, it's, you know, I have to know this deck better, or at least be able to, you know, do an actual study of this deck. You know? All right, so that was a good combination. Okay, so the next one I would pull out is one I almost never use. I kind of always forget this exists in my collection. But this is the Forest Fae, and these little mini oracle cards here. And they're actually really, really cute, very sweet. They are vertical, like this, so they go like this. So it's not like a deck that you could put like this, and then you have 3 slots. This is a vertical deck. So I still have the Fairies Oracle out, so I wonder if we can do some sort of thing here. And I might end up combining it with my next thing too. All right, so let me lay out. So let's pull a fairy. We just had that. Sorry, hold on. I think I put everything on top of, you know, what I was using here. All right, so let's pull a fairy. There we go. This is our Fae person, our good person, good people. So there is, now we pull a couple tarot cards here. Maybe we do this in the middle, or we can do we want to put the fairy in the middle and then do what we were doing there, like that? Or, now I like the fairy off to the side because I want to start it here. So I'm just kind of messing around here. Sorry, bear with me. And then we could do this. So I do like this. Hopefully I'm in frame. I can't tell. And then we can finish it off with a message. Like, I don't know what these would indicate. Something along the way. And we finish it off with the message. Let's see. All right, the storyteller, and let's read that real quick. This says, stories are medicine, strengthening, and renewing. Oh, I like that. Huh. So this is, we've got the 3 of skins and the 4 of skins, and then a storyteller. Like, this is the story that he's telling. This is the story. Interesting, and I like that it's a progression too. So let's do another layout of this. Ooh, this card has a little tiny indent in it, huh? All right, we have this creature. This is the tarot cards for it. Again, I don't quite know what position I would put for these cards here. And then we have the message card at the end, and we have the wild god. Go to the woods, to moss, to mud, to magic. All right. So that's cool. And then with that, we have the 10 of skins and the 7 of songs. This is interesting. I really like this combination. I'm not sure. Obviously, it needs to be tweaked. It's not quite working exactly like this, but I like where it's going. You know, I feel like this has potential. Yeah, and then this one is the spirit familiar. Seek loving connections and cherish friendships. Ooh, okay. This one would want to have our friendship together, and then we have the 2 of honey. That is, you know, it's like balancing, you know, prioritizing, and we've got strength card here. Interesting, huh? One more doing this. We got that card, Iris of the Rainbows, with the sun and the Knight of Skins. And this card here, this is the Sentinel. New opportunities shall manifest in unexpected ways. That is a very interesting combination. And I'm actually going to pull in the last oracle or system, and I keep it here in this this tray. So on the top is actually OM cards. So I could use the cards in here with that, and that could also work, you know, some sort of OM reading. But what's under here, under the cards, is my oghams. So what I could do here is finish off this reading with, all right, seeing what we got here. So like, and also seeing where they land and how they land. This landed upside down, but you know, I think, am I going to pay attention to that? I don't think I am. I'm going to keep it like that. So it landed, so this is the only one that didn't get one. This one flung off, so we're going to discard it. But yeah, that could be kind of cool. And then that might give some further context. And especially if I want to use this deck more within my Irish paganism practice, which includes a connection with the Fae, then bringing in Ogham makes a lot of sense. And doing something like that could work. All right, so I think that is everything I'm going to do here with this deck. Yeah. Okay, so that was, woo, that didn't go smoothly. There we go. That was the Bloodmoon Tarot. Let's pull out, ooh, so a few cards here. Ooh, whoa! I love this, the honey and the skin suit. That's like my favorite cards of these suits. So the pairings I liked with it the most. Okay, so I think the Fairies Oracle was definitely a winner. It's just, you know, obviously something I gotta figure out and study more, but that was an obvious winner to me. I also really liked this Forest Fae deck with it. I need to pull this out more, and I really loved the Cosmovisions. So that was also a really good pairing. I think those were my top 3 pairings with this deck. All right, thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you later. Bye!